She begged me. "Grandpa, trust me, don't wear that hat today." I laughed, thinking it was silly. Then the world turned upside down, and I understood why. Welcome back to your ultimate destination for gripping revenge stories, family betrayals, shocking betrayals, and emotional justice. Subscribe now and join a community and tell us where you're watching from. Turn on the notification bell for our next story. Are you ready to witness the ultimate payback? Let's get started. MacPherson stood at the edge of his porch, the morning sun hitting the brim of his worn black cowboy hat. Its leather was cracked from years of wear, the band faded from countless rides and adventures. He adjusted it slightly and chuckled to himself. Old Faithful, can't leave you behind, even today. His phone buzzed. He pulled it from his pocket and saw his granddaughter's name on the screen, Charis. "Good morning, Grandpa." Charis's voice trembled slightly over the line. "Morning, Charis. What's got you calling so early?" MacPherson asked, smiling. There was a pause. Then Charis spoke, her tone low, urgent. "Grandpa, whatever you do, don't wear your black cowboy hat today." MacPherson chuckled, thinking she was joking. "Don't wear my hat? Come on, Charis. It's my lucky hat." "Grandpa, I'm serious," she said, her voice shaking. "Just trust me. You'll understand soon. Please." MacPherson frowned, feeling a shiver run down his spine. All right, I'll leave it behind. But you better tell me why, Charis. I can't explain over the phone. Just stay inside and wait. You'll see. Promise me, okay?" He sighed. "Okay, kiddo. I trust you. But you're making a lot of mystery for a morning call." Hanging up, MacPherson felt an odd unease settle in his chest. He glanced at the hat on the coat rack inside and wondered why a 12-year-old would be so terrified. Was this a prank? Something serious? His gut whispered caution, but curiosity gnawed at him. By mid-morning, the day unfolded as usual. Susan, his daughter, called to check in. "MacPherson, what are you up to today?" "Anything fun. Just the usual, Susan," he replied, masking the tension in his voice. "Charis told me not to wear the black hat, so I'm taking it easy." "Not wear your hat? Why would she say that?" Susan asked, concern creeping into her tone. "I don't know," she sounded scared. "Very scared," he said. "I told her I trusted her, so I'm leaving it behind." Susan frowned. "You'd better be careful, Dad. Kids sometimes see things adults miss." He nodded, still uneasily glancing out the window at the street. Amanda, his neighbor and longtime friend, dropped by to help with some gardening. She noticed his unusual tension. "MacPherson, you okay? You're acting like you've seen a ghost," Amanda teased lightly. I got a warning from Charis," he said, trying to laugh it off. "She told me not to wear my black cowboy hat today. I don't know why, but I'm trusting her." Amanda raised an eyebrow, concern flickering in her eyes. "Huh, that's strange. Kids usually don't scare easily unless there's a reason. Maybe take it seriously." MacPherson shrugged, though his unease grew. He spent the morning pacing lightly, half listening to the radio and half watching the street outside. His mind couldn't shake the tension, a gnawing feeling that something unseen was waiting. Then, mid-afternoon, a sharp, high-pitched scream echoed from down the street. MacPherson froze. Heart pounding, he rushed toward the window and froze again. A car had skidded out of control, its trajectory headed straight toward the intersection where a small crowd had gathered. People were shouting, running, and he realized, just in time, that the black hat would have been visible to the driver. Charis's warning had saved him before he even knew the danger. MacPherson exhaled slowly, relief washing over him, but a chill remained. His grandson had somehow seen danger he couldn't, and the realization left him shaken to the core. Have you ever been warned of danger you didn't understand until it was almost too late? The car's screeching tires still echoed in MacPherson's ears long after the moment had passed. His hands trembled slightly as he gripped the window frame. He had never felt such a surge of adrenaline, or fear, since that fateful accident years ago. He grabbed his phone and called Charis immediately. "Granddaughter, what did you see? How did you know?" Charis's voice was tight with urgency. "Grandpa, I don't know how to explain. I saw it in my dreams first, and then I felt it this morning. Something bad was going to happen if you wore the hat. I couldn't let you ignore me." MacPherson's jaw went slack. "Dreams? You saw danger in a dream?" "Yes, Grandpa," she cried, her voice trembling. "I saw you getting hit, or worse. I couldn't stop it. You had to trust me." I knew you would listen if I warned you. MacPherson sank into the nearest chair, gripping the arms tightly. His heart pounded, his mind spinning. He had always been practical, logical, a man who trusted what he could see and touch. And yet here was his granddaughter, warning him in a voice full of fear and certainty, and she had been right. Susan arrived moments later, sensing something was wrong. Dad, what happened? MacPherson struggled to explain. Charis, she warned me not to wear the hat. I didn't understand why. Then a car lost control, right where I would have been walking. Susan's eyes widened. Are you saying she saved you? MacPherson nodded slowly, his mind still reeling. I don't know how, but yes. She saved me. Amanda, who had just returned with a tray of iced tea, looked at him with concern. MacPherson, are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost. I think I understand now, he muttered, running his hands over his face. Charis, she knew. Somehow she knew. The weight of realization pressed down on him. The universe, fate, intuition, whatever it was, had intervened through the voice of his granddaughter, and he had almost ignored it. The thought that he could have walked into danger because he doubted a child's warning sent a cold shiver down his spine. Charis's words echoed in his mind. Grandpa, whatever you do, don't wear your hat. Trust me. He had brushed them off at first, smiling and thinking it a silly caution. And yet, that tiny piece of fabric, the black cowboy hat, would have made him visible, a moving target in the wrong place at the wrong time. For the first time, fear and gratitude collided inside him. He looked toward the street, imagining what might have happened, and a lump rose in his throat. He had underestimated the sharp intuition of the young, the unseen knowledge that sometimes comes to the most unlikely people. Susan reached out, squeezing his hand. Dad, maybe you should take this as a lesson. Listen to those who care for you, no matter their age. Amanda nodded. Yes, sometimes wisdom comes in unexpected forms. MacPherson exhaled, feeling a mixture of relief and awe. He realized the day could have ended tragically, and yet it hadn't. Charis had guided him, protected him, and he had lived to see it. But the realization also ignited a deep sense of responsibility. He needed to understand how Charis could sense danger, and he needed to trust her instincts more than ever. When someone warns you of danger you can't yet see, would you listen, or risk everything thinking it's impossible? After the near accident, MacPherson couldn't shake the unease that had settled over him. Every sound outside, the hum of passing cars, the bark of a dog, even the rustle of leaves, felt amplified, a subtle reminder that danger could strike at any moment. He found himself replaying Charis's warning over and over in his mind. Grandpa, whatever you do, don't wear your hat. Trust me. That night, in the quiet of his study, MacPherson stared at the black cowboy hat lying innocuously on its rack. His hand hovered over it, a strange mixture of attachment and fear tugging at him. How could something so familiar and comforting suddenly represent danger? His granddaughter's words had been so urgent, yet he hadn't understood why. Now, the unknown loomed larger than the familiar. Susan noticed his tension during dinner. Dad, you've been restless all day. You barely touched your food. MacPherson pushed the plate aside. I keep thinking, what if I hadn't listened to Charis? What if I'd worn the hat? It's not just luck that saved me, it's her. Amanda, visiting again to offer support, nodded thoughtfully. Kids can sense things we adults dismiss. Fear, intuition, sometimes it's sharper than our own experience. MacPherson leaned back, hands gripping the chair arms. But I keep asking myself, how? How could she have known? Was it instinct? A dream? Something else? The questions gnawed at him. He realized he had no answers, only an uneasy reliance on his granddaughter's mysterious foresight. Charis, sensing his anxiety, approached cautiously. Grandpa, are you all right? I don't know. Charis, he admitted, voice heavy with frustration and wonder. I keep thinking about what could have happened. I can't stop imagining if I hadn't listened to you. Charis sat beside him, small and earnest. I felt it, Grandpa. I knew you had to trust me. I didn't know exactly what would happen, but I knew something bad was coming. MacPherson exhaled slowly. You have a gift, Charis. Something I've never experienced, and I have to accept it, even if I don't understand it. But it's terrifying. I feel like my life could have ended today, and I was powerless to see it. Amanda, sensing the deepening tension, offered reassurance. The key isn't understanding at all, MacPherson. It's trusting the people who care for you, even when their warnings seem strange or unbelievable. Charis saved you because you listened in time. Despite the comfort of her words, MacPherson couldn't shake the sense of vulnerability. Every decision from now on felt weighty. Every morning, the hat would sit there, a reminder of near disaster. His mind began to dwell on every what-if, every choice he had made, every time he might have doubted Charis. He realized that while fear had sharpened his awareness, it had also isolated him. He no longer wanted to leave the house without consulting Charis, without knowing that he was truly safe. The thought both comforted and unnerved him. By midnight, MacPherson found himself alone on the porch, staring at the horizon. The stars were bright, yet the memory of danger clung to him like a shadow. The descent into this heightened awareness was exhausting, but necessary. It was the price of survival, and it taught him that even the strongest, most experienced man could be vulnerable. When intuition warns you of unseen danger, would you follow it blindly, or fight your fear and learn to trust the impossible? The next morning, MacPherson awoke with a new determination. Fear had sharpened his senses, but curiosity now drove him. He needed to understand why Charis had sensed danger so clearly, and why it had targeted him today. He couldn't leave it to chance. He began by revisiting every detail of the morning. The streets, the people, the traffic patterns, all seemed ordinary. But he remembered the skid of tires, the near collision at the intersection, the speed at which the car had lost control. Something had almost gone horribly wrong, and he had narrowly avoided it. "Grandpa, are you going to be okay?" Charis asked, following him into the kitchen. Her voice carried a seriousness that belied her age. "I don't know yet, Charis," MacPherson admitted. "I need to figure out what happened. Something, or someone, caused that car to spin out of control. I need to make sure it wasn't random." Charis nodded, eyes wide. "I'll help, Grandpa. I saw it coming, but I didn't know why. Maybe if we look closely together, we can find the reason." Amanda arrived mid-morning with a tray of coffee and a calm presence. "I hear you two are on some kind of investigation," she said with a faint smile. "I can help too. Sometimes another set of eyes makes all the difference." Together, they began retracing the route MacPherson would have taken. They examined skid marks, spoke with neighbors who had witnessed the incident, and noted the erratic driving patterns of the car involved. Every detail added to the puzzle. As they investigated, Susan joined them, concern written on her face. "Dad, this is serious. Don't let it consume you. But I understand why you have to find answers." Hours passed, and slowly, patterns began to emerge. MacPherson realized that the car's trajectory wasn't random. It had swerved at exactly the intersection he would have crossed, at the precise time he would have been there, had he worn the hat. Someone, or something, had planned for that moment. Charis shivered. "Grandpa, that means it wasn't just luck I felt. Someone wanted you there." MacPherson's eyes narrowed, determination hardening his features. "Exactly. And I'm going to find out who, or what. I won't leave it to chance. If someone tried to harm me, I need to be ready next time." Amanda, ever cautious, spoke softly. "Be careful, MacPherson. You can't anticipate everything, and fear can cloud judgment. But you can control how you respond." MacPherson nodded, scanning the neighborhood from the porch. He couldn't see a threat yet, but he could feel its presence, the unseen danger that had forced Charis's warning. He realized that this hunt wasn't just about understanding the past. It was about preventing the next incident. Charis tugged gently at his sleeve. "Grandpa, I don't know how I knew, but I'll keep watching with you. We can stop it together." MacPherson placed a hand on her shoulder, a mixture of pride and protectiveness in his eyes. "We will, Charis. Together, we'll uncover the truth. And if anyone thinks they can put you or me in danger, they'll have to face me first." The day ended with a plan forming. A systematic watch over the streets, neighbors informed, and MacPherson's heightened awareness ready for any sign of danger. The hunt had begun, and he would not rest until the source of the threat was revealed. When danger lurks unseen, would you investigate and protect your family, or risk ignoring the warning signs? The following day, MacPherson, Charis, Susan, and Amanda gathered again, retracing every step of the near accident. Each clue, each detail, was analyzed meticulously. MacPherson had grown increasingly tense, his senses attuned to anything out of place. The hunt had become an obsession, but now, clarity was close. Charis tugged at his sleeve. Grandpa, look. She pointed to a series of tire marks near the corner of the intersection. These lines, they don't match normal driving. Someone aimed at that spot. Someone knew you'd be there. MacPherson knelt, inspecting the marks. The realization hit him like a cold wave. You're right, this wasn't random. Someone plotted this. Someone knew my route, my timing, and yes, my hat would have made me visible. That's why Charis's warning was so precise. Susan frowned. But who would do this? Why target you? MacPherson's mind raced. It has to be personal. Someone close enough to know my habits. But who? Friends? Neighbors? Or someone watching from a distance? Amanda spoke up, voice calm but firm. Don't forget, MacPherson, the world isn't always what it seems. Someone could exploit patterns anyone could see. Or it could be someone very close. MacPherson's heart skipped a beat. He thought about the family, the acquaintances, the routine he followed daily. Then it hit him, a small series of deliveries to his house in the past few weeks. Charis had noticed them but hadn't thought much of it. Packages arriving and leaving, subtle enough not to raise alarm. Except now, they seemed suspicious. Charis piped up, Grandpa, I remember seeing a man around the corner that morning. He was acting weird, hiding behind the bushes. I think he was watching you. MacPherson's jaw tightened. So it's someone who observed us carefully, planned this attack. And they knew my routine down to the exact minute. This wasn't random, it was calculated. And that explains the warning. Susan's voice trembled. But how did Charis know? How could she sense it? MacPherson looked at his granddaughter, awe and concern mingling in his gaze. She has an instinct, a foresight we can't explain. It saved my life today. But it also means whoever plotted this underestimated her awareness. They thought I was their only concern. Amanda added quietly. Sometimes danger reveals itself to those we least expect, but also to those we must trust. Charis saw what you couldn't, and now you have the advantage. MacPherson nodded slowly, determination hardening in his chest. The revelation is clear. The threat is real, personal, and calculated. But thanks to Charis, we have the first piece of the puzzle. We know the timing, we know the intent, and now, we prepare to face it. He turned to Charis, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. Your warning was more than intuition. It was life-saving insight. You've done more than protect me. You've shown me the importance of vigilance, of trust, and of acting when danger is near. Charis smiled faintly, eyes wide but steady. I just wanted to keep you safe, Grandpa. MacPherson exhaled, feeling a mix of awe, relief, and mounting resolve. The danger was real, but now it had a name, a motive, and a target. And he would meet it head-on, this time fully prepared, fully aware, and fully protective of those he loved. When the source of danger is revealed, will you confront it, or wait for fate to decide your path? MacPherson gathered Charis, Susan, and Amanda in the living room, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows across the floor. The revelation from yesterday had shaken him, but it had also brought clarity. They needed a plan, and they needed each other. Listen, MacPherson began, voice steady but commanding. We now know the threat is real, personal, and deliberate. We cannot face it alone. Charis, your intuition saved me once. Susan, your insight and vigilance are crucial. Amanda, your calm and strategic thinking will keep us grounded. Together, we are stronger than any danger waiting outside. Charis nodded solemnly, her small hands gripping MacPherson's arm. Grandpa, I'll do whatever it takes. I won't let anyone hurt you, or us. Susan's eyes softened. Dad, I've always worried about you, but now, I see the danger you couldn't. We're a team, and together we can handle this. Amanda chimed in. We need to combine observation, strategy, and quick action. We have information, instinct, and trust. That's more powerful than any threat outside that door. MacPherson felt a surge of relief. Having them at his side didn't remove the fear, but it gave him strength. Each of them brought a unique skill. Charis's intuition, Susan's knowledge of the neighborhood and people, Amanda's calm and methodical approach. He realized that he didn't have to face danger alone. That evening, they mapped out contingencies. Amanda suggested surveillance points, areas where unusual activity might appear. Susan recalled patterns of deliveries and odd sightings over the past weeks. Charis insisted on routines, specific times when they should be alert, when the threat might attempt to strike again. MacPherson nodded, absorbing every detail. This is more than preparation. This is trust. If anyone thinks they can corner me, they'll have to get through all of us. And I promise they won't. As night fell, MacPherson felt a strange mix of tension and comfort. The danger still existed, looming like a shadow outside their windows, but the alliance they had formed was strong. Each of them knew their role. Each of them understood the stakes, and each of them had the courage to face it. Charis leaned against him, whispering, "Grandpa, together, we're unstoppable." He smiled faintly, squeezing her hand. "Yes, Charis. Together, we are unstoppable. And anyone who tries to harm our family will learn that the strength of trust, courage, and love is more powerful than fear or malice." Hours later, they sat together in the living room, reviewing all possible scenarios, every known detail of the threat, and preparing mentally for the challenges ahead. MacPherson reflected on how fear had initially paralyzed him, how near disaster had forced him to rely on others, and how the bond with his granddaughter and allies had transformed that fear into power. Amanda spoke quietly, breaking the silence. "This alliance, it's more than strategy. It's heart. And sometimes, heart is the sharpest weapon." MacPherson nodded. "Exactly. We've faced fear, but now we face it with strength. And when the danger comes, they'll find we are united, ready, vigilant, and prepared. When threats surround you, will you face them alone, or forge an alliance strong enough to turn fear into power?" The house was quiet, the air thick with anticipation. MacPherson and his small alliance, Charis, Susan, and Amanda, had been watching the streets for days, analyzing patterns, and preparing for any sign of the threat. For the first time since the incident, they felt they had a measure of control. But control, MacPherson would soon learn, was an illusion. Late that evening, Amanda stepped away from the surveillance post, claiming she needed to check supplies in the garage. MacPherson watched her leave, unease creeping in. Something felt off, subtle but undeniable. He shook it off. Perhaps he was overly cautious after everything, but the feeling refused to fade. Charis noticed his tension. "Grandpa, are you worried?" "I don't know, Charis. Maybe I'm just tired. Or maybe something isn't right," he admitted. Hours later, MacPherson was reviewing the security footage when his heart stopped. One of the cameras had been disabled, deliberately, and the angle showed someone sneaking around near the back entrance. But it wasn't a stranger, it was Amanda. He could hardly believe his eyes. Amanda, who had been their comm strategist, was moving quietly, manipulating doors and bypassing locks. His mind raced. Had she been planning something the whole time? Or was there a reason behind her actions that they hadn't known? Susan entered, sensing his alarm. "Dad, what is it?" MacPherson pointed at the screen. "Look, Amanda. She's here, near the back gate." "Why? Why is she doing this?" Susan gasped. I don't know. Maybe she's trying to help. Maybe she found a way to trap the threat." MacPherson shook his head. The evidence suggested otherwise. "I don't think this is helping, Susan. She's moving with intent, not caution. She's betraying our trust." Charis's face paled. "Grandpa, does this mean she wants to hurt us?" "I don't know yet, Charis. But we need to act carefully. Betrayal from within, it's the most dangerous kind," MacPherson said, every word weighed with gravity. He quickly devised a plan. They would confront Amanda, but cautiously, without exposing themselves. Susan, nervous but resolute, helped him trace Amanda's movements through the cameras. Each step revealed more. She had disabled cameras, accessed information, and appeared to be feeding details to someone outside. Charis's voice trembled. "Grandpa, she's one of us. Why would she do this?" "Fear, greed, or manipulation," MacPherson muttered. "Sometimes those we trust the most are the ones who can hurt us the deepest." That night, they cornered Amanda in the garage. The confrontation was tense, silence thick like a storm about to break. MacPherson, Susan, Charis, Amanda's voice was calm, almost eerily so. "You don't understand. I had no choice. They have my family. I did what I had to do to protect them." MacPherson's hands trembled, but his voice remained firm. "Betrayal, Amanda, whether justified or not, almost cost all of us our lives. Trust cannot exist when fear controls your actions." Tears filled Charis's eyes. "Grandpa, what do we do now?" MacPherson exhaled slowly, realizing the painful truth. Even with alliances, even with preparation, the human heart could falter. But he knew one thing. The fight wasn't over, and they had to remain vigilant. When betrayal comes from within, can trust survive, or must vigilance outweigh loyalty? The following evening, tension clung to MacPherson like a second skin. The betrayal within had shaken him, but now the focus was the external threat, the one Charis had sensed from the beginning. The family had fortified the house, monitored every movement, and prepared for the confrontation that had been looming since the first warning. Charis perched on a chair, eyes scanning the darkened street. "Grandpa, I can feel them. They're close." MacPherson nodded, gripping the railing of the porch. "Stay calm, Charis. We've prepared for this. Remember, control and observation are our allies." Susan tightened her grip on a flashlight, her jaw set. "We can't let them get the drop on us. Not now. Not after everything." Amanda, though still under suspicion, approached cautiously. "I'll help. I've made mistakes, but I can still do the right thing. Let me be part of the solution." MacPherson studied her. The betrayal had been real, but Amanda's willingness to help now showed a flicker of loyalty. "You'll have one chance, Amanda. Don't waste it." Minutes later, headlights appeared in the distance, a car slowing as it approached the house. MacPherson felt his pulse quicken. Every scenario they had planned flashed through his mind. He gestured to Charis and Susan. "Positions. Stay alert. Wait for my signal." The car stopped, and a figure stepped out. It was a man none of them recognized, tall and deliberate in his movements. But MacPherson noticed something, a brief hesitation as the man scanned the property. The external threat had underestimated the family's preparation. MacPherson stepped forward, voice firm and commanding. "I know what you're here for. Leave now, or face the consequences." The man laughed, a low, cruel sound. "MacPherson, your granddaughter's visions saved you once, but visions can't stop what's coming. Step aside, or this house will be mine." Charis's eyes narrowed. "Grandpa, we can't let him intimidate us." MacPherson exhaled slowly, channeling every ounce of calm and strategy he had learned over the past days. "We're not afraid of threats, and we protect our own. Leave, or face the truth of your plans." The man advanced, and Amanda moved swiftly to block him, showing her commitment to the alliance despite her earlier betrayal. Susan joined, wielding a flashlight as a deterrent. Charis remained close to MacPherson, her presence a steady reminder of the intuition that had started this entire journey. The confrontation escalated, the man realizing he was outnumbered and outsmarted. MacPherson's voice cut through the tension like steel. "You underestimated us. Threats end here. Leave before it's too late." The man froze, evaluating the determined faces around him. Slowly, he backed away, glancing once more before retreating to his vehicle and speeding off into the night. Relief washed over the group, the immediate danger finally dissipating. MacPherson turned to his allies. "We've survived tonight, but remember this: trust, vigilance, and unity are stronger than fear or malice." "Amanda, your actions now have redeemed what could have been lost." Amanda nodded, tears in her eyes. "I understand, MacPherson. I won't fail again." Charis smiled faintly. "Grandpa, we did it together." MacPherson placed a protective hand on her shoulder. "Yes, Charis. Together. And we've learned something vital. Courage, loyalty, and trust are the most powerful shields we have, far stronger than any fear or danger outside these walls. When the threat is real and danger surrounds you, will you confront it, or let fear dictate your fate?" The morning after the confrontation, the air felt lighter, though still tinged with the adrenaline of the previous night. MacPherson stood on the porch, the black cowboy hat resting innocently on its rack inside. He glanced at it, a mixture of gratitude, wariness, and reflection in his eyes. That hat had become more than an accessory. It was a symbol of near disaster, intuition, and survival. Charis ran up to him, eyes bright but cautious. "Grandpa, are we safe now?" MacPherson knelt to her level, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Yes, Charis, we're safe. You and your instincts saved me before, and last night, our preparation and unity protected all of us. But the lesson here is deeper than safety. It's about trust, courage, and family." Susan joined them, wrapping her arm around her father. "Dad, seeing you face all that, I realized how strong you are, but also how much we all rely on each other. None of us can do this alone." Amanda approached slowly, her earlier betrayal replaced by remorse and determination. MacPherson, I made mistakes. I let fear guide me instead of loyalty. But you gave me a second chance, and together, we protected the family. I'll never forget this. MacPherson nodded, the weight of leadership and responsibility settling back on his shoulders. Everyone has a choice when faced with fear or temptation. Some choices hurt others, some protect. Last night, we chose protection, courage, and trust. That's what matters. He looked at Charis, pride swelling in his chest. You have a gift, my granddaughter. It's rare and powerful, but it's not just intuition. It's your willingness to act, to care, to protect. That's what saved us all. Charis smiled faintly, a mix of humility and pride. I just wanted to keep everyone safe, Grandpa. MacPherson sighed, glancing at the street outside. The neighborhood was calm, ordinary once again, but he knew the vigilance and courage of the past days would remain with him forever. He had faced fear, betrayal, and real danger, and had emerged not only alive, but stronger and more connected to his family than ever before. Susan spoke softly, almost to herself. It's strange how near disaster can teach you what's truly important. We can rebuild, we can strengthen, but we also carry the memory of what we overcame. Amanda added, and we've learned that redemption is possible, even after mistakes. Trust can be regained, and courage can emerge from fear. We've seen it firsthand. MacPherson placed the black cowboy hat back on his head, adjusting it carefully. It felt different now, less a symbol of luck, more a symbol of life, wisdom, and the bonds that held them together. He stepped outside with Charis by his side, Susan and Amanda close behind, ready to face the day together. He whispered, more to himself than anyone else. Sometimes danger comes from where you least expect it, but love, trust, and courage are stronger than anything outside these walls. Charis squeezed his hand. Grandpa, together, we can face anything. He smiled, finally at peace. Yes, Charis, together. The sun rose over the quiet street, lights spilling over their home, the past danger fading into memory. MacPherson knew they had survived not because of luck, but because of vigilance, intuition, and the unbreakable bond of family. When life tests your trust, courage, and family bonds, will you rise stronger, or let fear define you? Thank you so much for watching my story all the way to the end. Your support means everything. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.